everyone, I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me and Tom in the studio today. It's not a bad day today, is it, Tom? Unfortunately, we have bought a swimming pool, but the weather's been rubbish, hasn't it? Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're waiting for Mr. Sunshine to reappear. So welcome, Tom, to the studio, and welcome to all you lovely people at home. All the lovely faces that we see every single time. So Enid, Elizabeth, Viv, Christine, Joe. Welcome back, Joe. We've missed you. Gillian, Joanne, Tracy, Denise. Welcome back, everybody. So in today's studio, we are going to launch the next stamp in the Craft Academy. So if you haven't had the newsletter, it might be a surprise to you. But if you have and you've purchased it, we're going to use this lovely stamp today, though. This beautiful one with the blossoms on there. Sorry, the flowers on there. I'm just going to quickly talk you through a couple of the things that I just need to highlight. We have new faces every single day. I just need to get through the admin side of things before we do our inspiration. So if you are new to Craft Academy, basically we launch a new stamp every single week, and you can join in the fun if you want to by purchasing the stamp and crafting along with me live or later. Or you can just come along and get the inspiration. You don't have to buy the stamp. So you can pick and choose and cherry pick the stamps that you like. The encouragement is there for you to try something different, though. We do different things every single time, don't we, Tom? You can talk.
I know, but I need to lean there so I can write.
Well, then that's fine.
Yeah, I need to shuffle here, okay. And then I'll be touching.
Does that mean move over, Mum? There you go. Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah.
There we go. Somebody's happy. If you're happy, everybody else is happy. Go on then, Tom, you can colour if you want to. So I'm going to show you the stamp that is in today's lovely launch, and I'm super excited about this one because, as you all know, I'm a massive fan of flowers, and I love to just create things and anything that's got blossoms, botanicals, scenes. That's sort of like my love of craft, should we say. But as you know from the 12-week academy, I do step out of the box. I've done some variations of stamps which have pushed my boundaries, and I'm hoping that it's going to do the same for you at home. So this is the lovely stamp that we are going to launch today. So it's a beautiful Be Inspired stamp, and it's a beautiful blossom branch. I'll just show you it on the back. So you can see there it's got lots of lovely open spaces in there. You can paint these in pretty pinks, basically any colour you like. You've got the beautiful large Sentiment Grateful there, and you've got the lovely Be Inspired as well. This is an A5 stamp set, it's huge. But don't forget, all you lovely crafters, you may have bought the stamps as we've been going along. You may not have bought the stamps, but the inspiration is there for you. I just want to quickly show you the other stamps that are in the collection so far that we have launched. So that's the one we're launching today. This is now live. If you've managed to purchase it already, well done. If you are wanting to craft along with me next week with this stamp, now's your opportunity to buy it. All you need to do is go to our search engine on our Facebook and search engine on our website and pop FBL into the search engine, and it brings up all the lovely stamps that we're using in the Craft Academy, and you'll be able to see some of our earlier ones, which is great, and you can always go back and revisit those videos if you want to. They never go away, so if you like week 1, 2, 3, 4, you can go back and get those stamps if you want to. But as always, if you are on a budget, which is absolutely fine, and you're not wanting to buy any more craft because you have a house full of craft, then dig something out in your stash that's going to work. So the stamp we're working on today is this beautiful one, and this is the thank you one, and it's the beautiful like botanical florals with the large open leaves at the bottom, and then you get the lovely 2 thank yous on there. So you can see there's so much scope for these, and as you can see over my right hand shoulder here, we have some samples that we've been doing, and we are going to do a variation of, should we say, contrasts with this stamp. So we're going to do a bit of white onto craft, we're going to go heavy on some colour, we're going to mix it up and use some of our embossing powders, 2 colours at once, and then your traditional watercolours. So if you are wanting to craft along, you can still craft along and probably do what we're going to do in show. So that's the one we're working on today. Last week we worked on the fabulous Swing, which is Smile. This one is still available. Okay, so if you want to go and check out the videos for those as well, then go back and have a look at those. This was a beautiful one, and we created some beautiful projects using that one. And then the one before that one is the fabulous trees. And again, we showed you a lovely technique by using your pens and sort of like chopping it up a little bit and creating a watercolour finish where you would never know it's a stamp, which is super cool. Unfortunately, week 1 has gone. Week 2 is literally gone. There's only a handful of week 2. Week 3 is not far behind. So I think what's happening is people are tuning in late and then going back and buying them, which is brilliant. You can still get involved. You don't have to be in the live hour to buy the stamps, follow the inspiration. It's all there for you. So do I have anything else to say? I've got lots of stuff to tell you about today. So make sure you sign up for our newsletter. This lets you know about all of the things that we're doing over at the Stamps by Me headquarters, i.e. When I'm on Create and Craft live, when I'm here live, what we're doing, what we're launching, when things are back in stock. So all you need to do is go to the website and go and join our newsletter, and then you get all of those lovely updates. What else do I need to tell you about? So you will have seen on Saturday we launched our fabulous sale. We only do that twice a year. If you are a club member, you get the reduced prices. The sale is on for 1 week until Saturday. And if you are a club member, you need to click into each product to get the further reduction. So the little red box is what you will get in the sale if you are not a club member. But if you are a club member, you need to click into the product and you will get the reduced price even further. And that's just a way of saying thank you to all our fabulous club members on there too. If you're not a club member and you would like to be a club member, just join the club. It's £10 for the year. It's not a continuing renewal. It ends at the end of the year, and if you want to do it again, you can just automatically join yourself. We don't rejoin you, and we don't expect you to rejoin if you don't want to. And what that puts you in with is basically a goodie bag, or maybe 2 a year, where you get the opportunity to buy a goodie bag for £20 or £30, and there's hundreds of pounds worth of product in there. And then the 2 sales that we have throughout the year. We never have any other sales. We only have the 2 sales for our club members twice a year. And it's not to get rid of old stuff either. We'd pop things in there that are potentially things that people could not afford, or people have had their eye on for a while and are waiting for the sale, and that's great as well. So there we go. Let's have a look. Somebody was slapped in the face with a sparrow today whilst making a sandwich. That's what's happened to me actually. So let's do some lovely crafting, shall we? So you can see over my right hand side here we have the lovely samples, and we're going to do some heat embossing, and I'm going to show you how to chop up the colour. How many of you are crafting along? It would be lovely to know how many people are crafting along. And do you have the stamp? And if you don't have the stamp, you can still get the stamp. Wow. We are live for 3 live studios showing you different ways to use the one stamp. So the inspiration is pretty good. So Tom's pointing out that he's done a beautiful flower. Do you want to show the flower so far before we start the crafting, Tom?
Wait, I haven't done the actual flower yet.
Okay, do you want me to wait?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's wait. So before we get into our crafting, shall I show you some fabulous samples using the stamp that we've launched today? So if you're maybe sitting on the fence and you're thinking, do you know what, I've got something in my stash that's similar to that, then that's okay. But I just want to show you some of the samples that I've made where I've chopped it up a little bit and used them in alternative ways. And over the course of the 12 weeks, I am trying to, one thing I'm not trying to do is to dig out everything in my stash that nobody's going to have at home, because it defeats the object from Craft Academy. If you've bought the stamp, that should be good enough. Or if you have something in your stash, what I don't want to do is start getting lots of products out where you're going to be thinking, I don't have that, and to buy that's another £10, or to buy that's another £20. So if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, all the cards look very similar, you use the same things all the time, that is right. But what I am trying to do is show you that if you have a little stash, you can still create unique cards. You don't have to have everything that's on the market. Yeah, I say it every week that you don't need all the best paints and all the best brushes, and I have loads of brushes. I have a brush fetish, if I'm quite honest. I love brushes, but you honestly do not need them, okay? And it should not restrict you if you only have one brush, okay? So we'll make it work. So Tom's ready. Go on then, quickly show it, sweetheart. So already we've got a colourful flower with some love hearts and some leaves, maybe. It's coming on, that one. Well done. You're going to carry on?
Yeah.
Okay, so in today's studio we are going to just show you some inspiration that I've done using this lovely stamp. So first of all, let's just show you this basic one here that I have. Okay, I'll just hold it up to the camera because it just looks a little bit better on the front. So basically white embossed and then metallic ink. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. So this is the lovely Thirsty Brush Claire's paints. So basically I got the stamp, I took it straight out of the packet and it just lent itself really well to white embossing. Now it would look fab on white card and coloured in pretty blossom colours, wouldn't it? But I just want to show you that if you are not a advanced crafter or an intermediate crafter, that you can just take it out of the packet and just do a simple card. So there we go. So that's just a basic card. So then what about let's layering it up with some of our backgrounds on there. So this is the script that probably a lot of you have, and then what I did was I took a couple of our sentiments which were quite blocky and just incorporated them in there, and then I coloured the blossom vibrant on this occasion, and then I just matte and layered it on. Sorry, did I? No, let's just have a look. No, it's pads. I popped pads behind and 3D'd it up. So, and I'm having a question, the goodie bags are not available yet, sweetheart. We only do 2 a year, and what we do is we don't do it at the time of the sale because people can't afford it all. So I try and spot it over the year. So the goodie bag probably going to come summertime is that one. So that's that one. And then what about just straight onto the front of a DL. So I stamped it in blue and then I dry brushed the detail in the back with a distress ink pad. Quite effective, this one. Very, very simple. So I have no matte and layers, it's completely flat. You can see there, but something a little bit different. And if you'd have done that in like an antique rose colour or something like that, it would look like it's been burnished into the wood. So pretty simple, that one. Just pop that under there to keep it flat. And then the lovely bleachy technique that we did, but I did it a little bit different today on this one. I added the water to the card and stamped into the card. I really saturated the card to see what sort of effect, so just a different way of doing it. And then the lovely grateful in there is the word that's also available in the stamp. You can see here, look, you get the beautiful grateful word there, and it's like a distressed grateful as well. It's not like a sterile entity, it's sort of like a brush effect. It's really, really pretty. So that's that one. And then we have this one, which again is completely different. So I chopped up the design on this one. I stamped it at the top, heat embossed, and then heat embossed at the bottom. Now looking at this, it would have lent itself really well to having the detail over this bottom corner, so it'd have looked like a continuing pattern, wouldn't it? And we might work on that one when we come to use this stamp. But as you can see there, it's gold embossed, but I haven't added any sequins or splashes. I felt like, you know, if you didn't want to put splashes on there, you don't have to put the splashes on there, and you still get a beautiful card. What I did do though is I used my sparkly clear overlay pen on there to get the lovely sparkle in the blossom petals, should we say. So that's that one. Could you just show that one if at all possible? Just so you can see, hopefully you'll see the sparkle. Don't know. It's got the overlay in the sparkle. It looks really, really pretty. It's better in real life. And then lastly, I've gone a little bit distressed with this one. I did some sort of like backgroundy, dribbly techniques with fabulous metallic paints from Claire's range. And then I coloured the blossom in blue. Just one second. Coloured the blossoms in blue, and then I just dragged them out with a little bit of water, made it look a little bit like a wet in wet technique. Sorry about that. There we go. So I hope you like those. Something I can't say a little bit different, because you know what, it's minimal stash, so I know you're all going to be able to create these at home with me. So there's a little bit of inspiration for you. To be honest with you, I did 2 of those today. The other ones I've been chipping away at through the week, and if I'd have had more time today, I would have continued on playing with this stamp, because as you know, I do love a good floral. So I was always going to want to spend more time on those, but as always, it's getting me to step out of the box also. Do your new stamps need priming? Not really. There is no residue left on there, so they stamp first time, really. If you do have a problem though, and you have something and you're thinking this is not quite stamping, just take a clear sticky ink pad or a ink pad in general, stamp it out and then clean it off, and what will happen is the clear sticky ink pad will pull any cleaning residue off your stamp, but generally no, our stamps don't need priming, to whoever that lovely lady was asking that question. So I'm going to be using my lovely floral stamp here. You can see it's well loved. So first of all, let's just grab some nice black cardstock. So if you are crafting along, I've just grabbed a piece of black cardstock, and all it is half a piece of black card A4 cut in half. Okay, so nothing fancy. Just going to grab my Eureka. I'm just going to pop this into here, like so. And then we're just going to grab our lovely stamp. It's a big stamp, but you can snip it down if you want to and just use some parts of it. And you can actually decoupage some of the parts as well, because you have got complete flowers in there too, which is great. So I'm just going to hold that in place there with my magnet. So I'm being asked now, is there going to be a die for the stamp? Unfortunately, I have made the decision, whether it be wrong or right, and you can tell me off, guys, or you can give me feedback. What I've done is I've decided not to do dies with the stamps, simply because I want to keep the cost as low as possible, and I would probably say that 70 or 80% of them can be fussy cut. So I've decided to leave the die as is at the moment. I just want to keep it as low as we can, and people be able to probably afford more stamps and get involved, rather than me say, here's a stamp and die at £30. It's just too much to ask, and it's every week. And I know a lot of you do like to get involved every week, and it's a big ask for me to say, can I have £30 every week? So I would prefer you get 2 or 3 stamps and just be able to get involved one week. Does that make sense? I prefer the stamps without the dies. You know, as Stamps by Me, and when we do our own launches, we'll always have stamps and dies, because that's what we do as our brand. That's our sort of our identity. But for Craft Academy, I think it's nice to leave it just as stamps. I'm sure you'll let me, I'll show you later, you'll know. So what I'm going to do is, wow, that is beautiful, Tom. So I'm just using an anti-static bag here. And I know where the stamp's going to go, so I'm just anti-static the area all over, and this gets rid of all the messy marks, lumps and bumps that we don't like. I have 2 embossing powders here, one of which has not got the lid on properly, a silver and a gold. So you will see from this sample here, excuse me Tom, thank you. You'll see from this lovely sample here, we have half and half. Can we see that there? So you can already see that I tipped the powder on half of the image in the silver and then the other half. Never do it all at once, because you'll contaminate your powders. But what I'm going to do in this show is I'm going to show it. So that's one way of chopping up your embossing powders. What we're going to do in this show is we're going to do it in areas. Okay, so like spots of silver here and spots of gold there. So I'm just going to ink up the stamp all over. Now I don't have the lid for my ink pad because it's on the floor somewhere. So I'm just going to grab another piece of paper. Don't worry Tom, it's fine. Piece of scrap paper here just to catch my embossing powder. So is everybody okay? Is anybody baking today? I love to hear what you're all baking. Oh, Susan, no I didn't, sweetheart. I fussy cut around the word grateful, and I'll just show you, just one second. Right, so here's what happened with the grateful. You all know how I fussy cut. If I can fussy cut, I will. If there's areas where I can't get in, I'll leave. So if you look at this one here, I left the 2 areas where I physically, where I physically couldn't get in. Can we see that there? I couldn't get into here and here, so I left it. But I don't think that's a bad effort, and that's coming from somebody who does not fussy cut. I really do not fussy cut. And if I fussy cut my images, my watercolour images, I fill in the spaces with a watercolour background because my fussy cutting is really that bad. But no, if you can't get into the areas, I would leave it. And as this one as well, the thank you, I fussy cut around there. But as you can see, I didn't go into all the detail in there because it's just too difficult, and I think it still looks okay. Do you guys? I think it's nice. So let's get some ink on here. So that's stamped absolutely fine. So the technique behind this then, let's just move this out of the way. So you need to do this in sections because you don't want to contaminate your powder. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of silver there. Pick your areas, a little bit of silver here, a little bit there. So if you've got coloured embossing powders, that would look really, really good. It's unfortunate I don't, but... So just spot in some of the embossing and powder, don't matter where it goes. So you could use white, black and silver if you wanted to. So there we go, we've got little spots of silver everywhere. Can we see that there? So before I do anything else, I'm going to get rid of this powder because I don't want to contaminate my colours. If you have an happy accident and you contaminate, get a tub and pop the excess into a tub and save it as a mix. Don't throw it in the bin. So now we have that, and then the gold, I'm literally going to fill in all of those areas. Don't worry if it goes over your silver because the silver is already stuck, so it won't contaminate it. Can we see there now? And it'll come to fruition exactly what it's going to look like as soon as I heat set it. So I do make my own, and to be honest with you, it's a rarity that I send cards. I love to make them, but I don't often send them. And if I do send them, yes, I do make my own. And what I do is I use the We Are Memory Keepers board to make my own envelopes. So I don't know where you would put, I've had mine years, I don't know where you would get one from, but basically it tells you what size piece of card you need and where to score it, and it puts the fancy corners on. And I will dig it out and find it for you because I have had a few questions about that one. Jan. Yeah, Jan. So Jan, I will have a look for it for you, but it's a really, really good board, so it gives me the capability to make my own. The only other way I would make my own for my large cards is, I don't know if any of you do watch Create and Craft, but there is like a template, plastic template that makes oversized envelopes for oversized cards, so you can do them in your pattern papers. Not sure what they're called though. I'll have a look for them for you because I have had a few questions about that. So the Eureka 101 scoreboard does not go to the size that I make the larger cards of. I think it actually goes to a, in fact, I'll show you what it goes to because I've got a card blank here, what my son's, just borrow this, so it goes to this size here, and this is the 5x7. So don't get confused by 5x7 cards because albeit they say 5x7 is half of an A4, it's not. 5x7 is this size, it's smaller. So if I show you, that is half, this is half of an A4 and that's a 5x7. Just a second, Tom. Can we see that there? You can see it's smaller, so don't get confused, okay? So ours doesn't go as big as that. So let's heat set this one. Marilyn's got one, and yeah, they are good. That's right, Amanda, envelope shapes. There is a specific company that does them, and there's a variation. There's some really big ones, right down to the tiniest ones, and they're really inexpensive. I think they're about $14.99 for 4 sizes. And basically, it's a plastic sheet, and you pop it on onto your card, and you pencil it in, and you cut it out with your scissors, and you've got an instant envelope. I would really like to make my own envelopes. I will, after the show, have a look. I will have a look. So I'm just going to heat set this one now and show you how amazing it is if you mix your embossing powders. So there, you can see. Can you see that there? You've got a beautiful mix of colours. So if you have got more than the colours that I have, if you have got some coloured ones, I'll show you on the front there. You'll be able to totally chop it up and change it up as to what you want it to look like, your artwork. Mix your embossing powders, it's a great technique. Right, so as you can see from this one here, I just popped some splashes on and I matte and layered it onto concentration there, Tom. Are you getting hot? So I just popped some splashes in there and I just put the word thank you across there. I'm just going to show you an alternative way. So I'm just going to grab my scissors here and I'm just going to fussy cut into this area here. It's not difficult, so I'm just going to go straight up and I'm going to leave a little black border because I think it'll look pretty. So just fussy cut all the way around the image. So if you are crafting along, just leave a little bit of a border. If you're not the best fussy cutter in the world like me, the bud, there is a bud, I'm working my way towards this bud here. Guess what? The bud is not going to survive. The bud is coming off, it's too difficult to cut around. So we've just cut away that bud. But if you are and love to fussy cut and get round those detailed parts, then do leave it in because I'm sure it'll look quite pretty. But nobody's ever going to know. Nobody's ever going to know you've cut away part of the image, and that's the whole point of it. So I can see there we've got a beautiful, like, you could actually make it into a pretty pocket, couldn't you, if you wanted to? So you can see there. Now let's just show you. We have made the decision that I'm not going to make a complete card so I can get as many techniques in as I can. So I am just going to show you though how good it looks if you were to. So if you were to matte and layer this now with some pads behind, back onto black but raised it, you can see there. So if you were to pop some pads behind and raise it, can we see there how different it looks if you raise it? So this is a flat one. There we go. And then here's one if you put some pads behind raised, how different it looks, okay? So let's have a look. Gilding flakes would look fab. I don't own any though. You'll have to let me know on that one. Pocket, but yeah, it could make a beautiful pocket for your scrapbooks because of how it's set out. But let's show you what it looks like on white. Can we see that there? Some splashes in the background would look quite nice, wouldn't it? The white is a little bit stark in my opinion for the dark image, so probably what I would do is maybe chop it out with a darker colour. Let's have a look what it would look like on this. This is some glitter card. So you can see how effective it is whether you cut it away or whether you leave it in your card, like so. Can we see that there? It'd look quite pretty on all of them, don't you think? So that's just one technique and pretty simple. Swap out those embossing powders half and half or spot the colours around. Maybe use 2, 3, 4 colours. Use whatever you've got in your stash. If you have got the time and patience, why not use colours on the flowers and green on the leaves with your embossing powders? That would look quite effective, wouldn't it? So if you are watching on YouTube, as always, don't forget to click the HD button. That will give you a better experience if you are watching live. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and the beautiful bell, as we would call it, because it lets you know when I'm in studio. And you never miss a show then if you're busy. Yes, it's a wrong way. And I'm here every day at 3 o'clock, and if I'm not here at 3 o'clock, it means I'm on Create and Craft TV. So make sure you tell all your friends. We have so many new faces, absolutely so many new faces. I'm so pleased that you must be telling your friends, or I'm not sure how it's happening, but we're having a little bit of a snowball effect where we're getting lots of lovely new faces, and it's a lovely place to come and just just get inspired. You don't have to buy our products. We do like you to buy our products, but you don't have to. The inspiration is still there. So let's just set that one aside. So that was just a little technique that I wanted to show you. Okay, thank you. So let's move on to the second one. So if you take a look at the lovely cards behind here, what I am going to show you is, sorry, wow, beautiful. Just going to grab a card blank from down here now. Can't get in now because my son's covering my, can I just get in there please, Tom? Thank you. No, not in there. So let's just grab some normal cardstock. We can cut it down, can't we? Oh, I've got one. Thank you, Tom. I've got one, darling. Thank you. So let's just show you something a little bit different. So you can see from this one here, just show you this one here. So you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, it's busy. It is busy. And it has grown on me, but it has taken a week to grow on me there. So I'm being told there is an envelope board maybe in the range, so check that one out. I did emboss the thank you sentiment on the card. I did half and half, but what I did with the half and half is I'll just show you quickly. Just put this one down. So if you noticed, I swapped the half and half, so I made sure that the sentiments didn't get lost. I did silver on the left on the sentiment, silver on the right of the image, and vice versa, just so it didn't get lost on there. So I did heat emboss, and I did fussy cut that one. So Gilding Flakes needs like a sticky glue, and I think Indigo Blue do a nice sticky glue. I won't be able to tell you who else. It's something I don't do. Can anybody else help? So this one here, I just want to show you is if so this one here, I'll just show you again, sorry, getting sidetracked with all the questions. So you can see here we've got a double image. So basically all it consists of is two of these, like so, cut out, and then one has been, just move this over slightly, one has been offset slightly lower. Can we see that there? So it looks cool in the embossing, doesn't it? One has been offset lower than the other one. So you can see here, I've painted this one in pinks and blacks, but you can see if you offset it, it looks beautiful, doesn't it? So that's the same concept, but in embossing. So if you're thinking to yourself, I really do not want to get into watercolouring, it's not for me, although I will stand here every day and encourage you to do it. But if you are, you know, stick to your true craft and what you love, and it's not watercolouring that you want to do, there are alternatives: heat embossing, just stamping, Gilding Flakes, as the ladies have said on here. Question, can Tim turn the camera around so that we can see him, please? He's actually, I think we're having some difficulty with studio because he's squirreling away at all the buttons. So I'm being asked another question.
How do you use that?
Okay, it's just to do Mummy's mat and lair. So what we're going to do in this one is just show you something else. So let's just grab this piece of white cardstock and let's just grab the Eureka. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop this piece of white cardstock into my Eureka here. So this is where we're going to extend the design. I love to try and get more out of my designs than actually is possible. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to pop this on the base here. I'm going to stamp this one out in black. Like so. So this is just a waterproof ink pad. get all that detail in. Tim doesn't do cameras either, he's a bit camera shy. If you've ever noticed, we don't have any photos of, we don't take much photos anyway, to be honest. We're not a selfie family. Too busy to do selfies. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the same stamp and I'm just going to go across the top of our design here. Now I'm not bothered if it overlaps onto my image here, and you'll see why in a second. So I'll just move my magnet like so. Pardon? Just sit still, darling. You're going to end up falling off the chair. So I'm just extending that design. Pushing it down. And then when you open it, you end up with like a ugly mess, which is fine. Okay, so I'll just dry this one off. Now you could do the technique we did with the swing where you mask off, you take off the elements, and you could have a perfect oval. Just get this good proper dry. Now if you do this sort of design and you do mask off, you could then take your blade and take out the centre. Make an aperture window, if you've got the confidence with the blade around there like so, and stick it onto a card. But what we're going to do is, let me just show you. I'm just going to grab my guillotine. I'm just going to measure across. So the black ink I'm using is a VersaFine, it's just in a different case. So it's the waterproof VersaFine ink. So you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? Because in this lovely set you get those beautiful oversized sentiments. So let's just show you. So I'm just going to create myself a little banner here. So I'm just going to trim this one down too. And you'll see where this is going in a second. So let me just grab the stamp. Where's my stamp? It's getting rather busy on here. Oh, it's right in front of me. So I'm just going to stick this piece of white onto here. This stamp is so nice in embossing powder. You know, some stamps lend themselves better to embossing powder than others, but this one is a belter for embossing powders. It's beautiful. So I'll just show you what I'm doing in a second, ladies and gents. So I'm basically giving myself a nice banner, but what I'm going to do is I'm going further than just your black and white. I'm going black, white, black, white. So we are going to complete this card. Now you could heat emboss there in gold with the fabulous word grateful, but I'm going to stick to the white theme. I'm going to keep it quite a nice clean card if we can. And then we'll just stick this one on too. So we have our nice banner, and it's quite a chunky banner, is that one. I'll just put my guillotine down. So just make sure it's all in line. So I have a quick question, and it's on the board, and I keep forgetting to mention it. So who's had, I'm just going to pop this under my Eureka until it dries, so it'll dry flat. So who's had a letter from the government saying they have to stay home longer than 12 weeks? Please let me know. Love the chunky banner, Hazel. I'm just using some everyday black cardstock, 250 GSM, nothing fancy. Just leave them, Tom, for now, please. Thank you. Let's have a look. I have, yes, me. You want to get down? Sit on the chair, please. Sit on the chair, please. Sit on the chair. Okay. Just 1 second, ladies and gents. Tom's trying to get down. Yep, so sorry about that, ladies and gents. Tom just wanted to get down. Yeah, so the reason I ask is the 12-week programme is obviously to get us through the 12 weeks. A lot of people have had letters to say after that 12 weeks they have to stay in another 12 weeks. So it's going to be a long time for people. So any thoughts on me doing another craft academy, but a Christmas craft academy? And I'm just putting it out there. I haven't anything planned. I don't have anything in the pipeline, but this journey it's proving popular for one, and I know it's helping a lot of people. So I'm just putting it out there. Would you like us to do a 12-week craft academy in a Christmas format? So as you craft along in the studios, you'll be making your Christmas cards, and then you'll have some Christmas cards ready for Christmas. Is that something you would like to do? That's a yes then, is it? I thought the answer might be yes, and do you know what, I was hoping it was going to be yes, because I'm thoroughly enjoying doing this, and I thought it's a great way for me to do my Christmas cards too. So definitely. Okay, leave it with me. I'm not promising, I am absolutely not promising, but I will definitely consider the 12 weeks, definitely for you at home. As I said, don't have anything in a pipeline, and these things do take a little bit of time too, but I will absolutely look at it for you. So brilliant. I'm pleased you've said yes. So what I'm going to do is I have a piece of white cardstock here, so I'm just going to set this aside, and I'm just going to, no, that's right, the design's upside down. I'm just going to pop this piece of white card, it's just an offcut, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stamp and I'm going to stamp out one of the flowers. So here we go. So this is a full flower, which is brilliant. I'm just going to move it out of the way. I'm going to pop this on here, and I'm just going to focus on this flower here. Okay, so albeit the stamp is huge, and I am still doing a big card, but if you want to reduce it, you can. Okay, don't look at it just as its format, because there's so much you can do with these stamps at home that are sort of like, they look restrictive, don't they, because they're in a shape, but they're so not. So there we go. Let's just dry this one off. Yeah, Jan, that's a great idea. A6 stamps, so they'll be a little bit cheaper. I will have a look at it for you, sweetheart, not a problem at all. Yeah, I will certainly look at that for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly fussy cut this flower now. So I'm just going to go around, nothing fancy, and if I leave any white edge it's alright, because guess what, it's getting coloured, this one. So if I'm not the best fussy cutter in the world, I apologise, I at least I'm honest. It's not fussy cutting and bows. Don't know if you watched the show the other day with the bows scenario. My gosh. I did do my best though, I did try. So I'm quickly just cutting this one here, look. Now you could cut several if you wanted to. Stamp it out a few times and cut several. I'm just going for the one for the purpose of today's demo, because obviously you guys at home can make it as extravagant as you want, and I know you all love to play because you all post your makes on the Eureka fan page, and I so enjoy seeing them. And then people put, didn't quite turn out as I'd planned, and then I think, but it's amazing, it's amazing. So it's great, and it's good fun, very uplifting to see. So I've just got our beautiful image here, so I'm just going to grab my little pans here. If you've got your distress inks or your tubes or your pencils, and I do promise you, as soon as those boxes are empty outside this door, you will be seeing lots more of my pens and pencils and things what you've all bought over the course of however long. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to go orange, because it's very sunflowery, is this one, in my opinion. I think it looks like a little bit of a sunflower. So I'm just going to drop. So I'm not going to be fancy with my painting. I'm going to do exactly what we did the other day, is I'm just going to colour it all in orange all over. And again, great way to do it if you're not the best colourist in the world. So I'm just dropping, this is normal white cardstock as well. So I'm just dropping that colour all over. Like so. And then let's mix up a bit of yellow. And drop a little bit of yellow in there just to give it a little bit of contrast. So maybe pop some yellow where those shaded lines are. And just let it work its magic. I'm not going to try and control it. I'm just going to literally drop it in and go for it. And then in the centre, let's pop a little bit of, get a dark line there. I was going to go brown, but I'm going to go bright yellow if it'll allow. There we go. So absolutely nothing fancy, just get that colour down, drop another colour in and just let it dry. You can do these in pretty pinks, blues, whatever you want. So let's just have a look. I like the white stamps, thinking of a cost a lot. Yeah, you are right, they would be cheaper, but it's unfortunate that they're not much cheaper. And as you all know, myself, I always say go big and be able to cut down, or go small and then have to find things to match. So the cost is a couple of pounds, and it's just, and that's just how the manufacturer works, unfortunately. But I'll definitely have a look at it. I will not rule it out for you, Jan, not at all. And if I can, I absolutely will, you know that. So there we go, we have that there. So let's just pull this out of here and let's bring in our lovely banner. Like so, and then we're going to use the lovely thank you that's in the set. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push the thank you so it's over, so we haven't got the tail. I just want the thank you on there, leaving this little bit of a space here. And I'm just going to go with black, straight black, because it is a bit of a black and white card, and the only colour we have is the coloured flower, the one coloured flower. So 6 images over 12 weeks. Okay. The only problem with 6 images over 12 weeks would mean I'd have to do 6 studios on one stamp. And that's a lot of live hours on one stamp. I'll think about it. I'll figure it out. I'm just going to dry this one off, and as you can see, the thank you is like really sketchy and distressed. It's really, really different, and I really like it. It's not a faulty stamp, that is exactly how it's meant to be, and you'll find that a lot of the sentiments are like that in the Craft Academy, because normally I wouldn't buy a stamp that's distressed like that. So it's just because it's different, I like it. So we have our lovely banner there with our beautiful thank you on there, so you can see that there. So let's just move this out of the way. So let's start to construct this card a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to grab my guillotine, and our original image I'm just going to trim down. So I'm just going to take off the white border around our image. Just go a bit closer on that side. So there we have a lovely, like, just a background stamp in a sense. That's all we've created. I know it's overlaid, but we're going to hide that ugly overlay, what we don't like. Just get rid of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick this onto some black, so we have a nice black border. There we go. I'll use some glue for this one. So 6 images for TV and 6 for Craft Academy. Yep, our TV Christmas is sorted. It's already done and ready. Yep, that's a good idea. A new Christmas stamp one week and an old Christmas stamp another. That is a great idea. That is definitely food for thought. Always remember though, if we do more than you can afford, you will have something in your stash. You really, really will have something in your stash to craft along. There's only so many flowers, isn't there? And there is only so many backgrounds and things like that. So let's grab our beautiful banner here. So I've got our beautiful banner. I'm going to put some pads behind this one. In a sense, you could just do a black and white card as well. Black and white is quite stunning in itself without any colour. Just going to pull it down just so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to hide the overlay. Like so, and then I'm just going to bring in our lovely flower. I'm going to pop a pad behind here. Before I do that, I'm just going to make it sparkly with the sparkle overlay all over. And just picking out some of that detail. I'm just going to try and catch it so it catches the T of that thank you there. Like so. And then I would mount it onto a top folding note card or something for the photograph, and I will do that for you. So I'll just hold it up for you. You can make all the background sparkly with your sparkle pen if you wanted to as well, but that's just showing you how you can overlay if you want to. Nobody would ever know that that's not a full background stamp, and that's just playing. So let's just grab the things that we've potentially looked at today, so you can just get a feel of what you might want to do when you get home, or you're already home, what you might want to do if you're playing. So there was that one where it was completely flat. And then there was the double one, wasn't there, where it's like this. There we go. And then I showed you how to mix up the embossing powders, which is going to give you this sort of effect. So mix it up and you can chop it away from the page or leave it flat like this one. And then obviously a black and white, and if you pop some colour in the detail there, I'm going to mount this onto a card. So I'll just kind of get them all in, kind of get it in at this side. And then we'll matte and layer that onto a card for you. So super, super easy. Nothing difficult. In my opinion, this one looks difficult. It really does look difficult, but it's so not. And people would never know. So if you have the stamp, I'd like to see what you're going to do with it. If you don't have the stamp and you're waiting, it shouldn't be too long. And if you're not buying the stamp, that's also fine. Grab something that maybe you can create something a little bit similar. So I hope that's okay for you all today. I'm sorry Tom didn't stick around. Clearly I was boring him. But you know, these things happen. What we're going to do is I'm back with you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we'll focus on a different technique using the same stamp. And I'll show you some ways of getting some textured backgrounds, but not the ways that we've already shown you. We'll use some different items in our stash to get different textured backgrounds with this lovely stamp. So I hope you like the new stamp. If you haven't already and you would like to buy the stamp, you just need to go to www.stampsbyme.co.uk and pop FBL into the search engine, and all the Craft Academy stamps are there for you. Don't forget the lovely sale. The sale is still on. So whatever you're doing, have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy your tea, your supper, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 3 p.m. See you later, guys. Bye.